All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope you all can see me. Obviously, you can, but I'm kind of like hidden away at the edge of the screen. I decided to go back to doing vertical live streams. I figured that I could get a better setup going of the work. It fills the whole screen, and I think it feels more active. Feel like this version, vertical streams versus horizontal streams, feel more active versus more viewing. And I love the idea of having live streams that feel active for those of you who are watching. So popping open my art supplies right now, and I wanted to name this live stream, base this live stream on the concept of flow. You know, find your gift by finding your flow. And I was listening to this great audiobook called Flow by, I forget his name, something Chickamahili. It's like Stan Chickamahili or something like that. It's a very Eastern European name. But he talks about this concept called flow. And what I thought was so interesting about it is we probably all experienced flow, but it wasn't until like recently that I found out that it was an actual physical thing. It's like what you experience when you get lost in a great movie or a video game, or just you're with someone that you really like, and suddenly out of nowhere the whole day that you just spent your whole day or whole weekend with them, and the weekend is over, and it's like, where do you go from there, right? This experience of flow, just like time virtually disappearing around you. And there's this idea that people can find flow simply by people can find a gift simply by finding their flow. What makes them feel a sense of flow? What makes them feel a sense of getting lost, so lost in an activity that you lose your sense of time. So I'm trying to find the area of paint that I used yesterday. I tend to be a bit messy when I paint, so I can lose some of the colors and textures sometimes. Okay, we're just going to go with this color. We're just going to go into this. We're just going to keep going around, and we're going to build this figure up color by color. And we're going to be using brush strokes little by little in the style of our wonderful impressionist painters. So this is going to be a very impressionist adapted painting. Impressionist in the sense that we're using a lot of strokes, a lot of individual brush strokes to build up our painting, and it's going to be a little bit more flat with a focus on some color variation rather than form, and that's how we're going to build up this painting here. So here we go. We're gonna just keep building it up around here, and this is relatively experimental for me. I still never have quite gotten down the specific technique of how impressionists figured out how to lay down these brush strokes in a way that creates a nice painting that has full form. So this is an experimental painting for me, whereas others may be less experimental. But Void Walker, yes, this is oil paint. How are you? What's going on, Void Walker? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. So we're going to bring in some oil paint right here. And then we're going to go around this eye. And we're just going to continue building up this piece by piece, layer by layer. And one thing about this way of like laying down paint is use up so much paint, because each stroke needs each one of these parts needs a lot of paint to use to build up the color and the form around everything. So we'll see how this goes. I'm actually not exactly sure. Like, you know, I know there's some artists who can immediately imagine what it is that they want, what it is that they're gonna have at the end of the painting, but quite honestly, I'm not like that. And some of what I do is like, you know, changes from day to day. Like, I'll have this idea initially, but then I'll see something on YouTube that I just have to play with, like an idea, a way of painting, and it totally changes the way I finish a painting. So my style changes quite often. And we don't know exactly how this will look. It might look a bit crazy with all the underpainting, or it might look absolutely fantastic. We'll find out soon enough. Over the next hour or two, or couple of hours, or next day or two, we'll discover. We'll come to discover how this piece works out. So here we go. Void, what brings you in today? What made you stop by? What caught your attention? And here we go. So we're going to go up, up, and around. You know what? We're going to use some dark red for these lips. Some red for lips. We're going to use an even darker red for the upper lip. And you know what? I can already see that this is going to be a bit of a wild painting. But we're going to stick with this brush. It's a bit small for the application that I'm trying, but here's what we can do. Actually, I might as well use up more of this ochre here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull out a lot of this color. So where's that color? Let's use some of this brown and some of this. Is this sienna, right? Yes. Burnt sienna. Is this it? Yes. We're going to take some brown and burnt sienna. Burnt sienna. So pop down our brown. This is a Van Dyke brown. And then we're going to use our burnt sienna here. My goodness, this paint lasts a long time. I've had this paint in this like sitting in here for weeks, and it has not dried yet, which is pretty fascinating because pretty much every other paint has already dried except for that one. And what I'm going to do with all this paint is we're going to lay it down with a painting tool. Where's that? Where's my here we go. Gonna lay it down with a palette knife. Happy Sunday. Should the strokes follow the outline structures? Should the strokes follow the outline structures direction? I think the strokes. So I'm sure there's a method to this, but I think the strokes definitely need to follow some sort of pattern, you know, to help guide the eye. But I haven't quite figured it out for the face because the face constantly changes, and although this face isn't quite getting it, we're gonna keep working. So yeah, I guess there is a method to the madness of our impressionist friends, or method to what we could call a madness. And then let's grab some of this, grab some red, and pop that onto here. And let's see, let's swipe it up and down and around. And we're gonna carve this baby out with a Alright, we're going to carve out like that. And we're playing around with some of our color here. So we're going to go... Why is he so bloody? I don't know. He's an anime character that just got into a fight. So here we go. One thing that I learned from listening to a biography about Vincent van Gogh, I found out that like he was basically sculpting paint. He wasn't painting with paint, with a brush. I mean, he used a brush, right? Every photo that of him is basically him with a brush that people know of. It's iconic. But what I think I picked up one time while I was reading was that, you know, he would lay down these huge areas of paint and kind of just like sculpt and rework the areas until he found that it met his requirements. So that's how I actually figured out this little impasto technique that I have here, which, you know, I wouldn't say I've necessarily got down, but it works for some things. Like if you want to go with this impasto technique and have these brush strokes all over, then this is kind of what you got to do. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. But this is one of the ways, the methods where you can actually get these visible brush strokes really easy. So rather than laying down like, you know, one stroke at a time, picking up some paint, then another stroke, what you can do with this technique is basically just to lay down a huge layer of paint where you plan to paint it and then just go over it. Now, obviously, there are some caveats in the sense that there's probably efficient ways to do this. But so far, I'm definitely not digging this color choice here. But we'll see. Maybe we'll stick with the red and maybe we'll make some magic out of this. I don't know. We will figure things out. Let's keep going with this. Let's lay down another layer. Let's do another layer of this. Alright, so let's see how this turns out. We're going to go all around. But this is kind of a cool way a method to just lay down all these colors initially, and you kind of just like mold them as you go. But of course, you got to pick the right colors. Edits. What's happening, dude? How are you? You are Edits. That's right. And everyone better know that Edits is here. So here we go. We're gonna go right down here. Let's lay down our paint like so. This is definitely an experimental piece. One day, I will be able to use this painting method more effectively, but until that day, I'm having fun learning it. So let's see how we can improve some of this. Some of the parts of the face here, there's just too much empty space here. So Edits, what's the latest, man? Are you back in school? Let's go like this. We're gonna bring more color into this. And then let's bring some of this into here. Pick up a nice big glob of paint for this. The bigger the better, because it makes it so much easier to work with. Alright, so big globs of paint right here. Ready to go, ready to work with. And you know, I can see already, this probably won't be my favorite painting that I've ever done. But I am enjoying experiencing some of the qualities. Like, there's just something that feels good about working with really thick paint. Even if the actual piece itself isn't necessarily turning out visually stunning, I will say it is a fun little experiment here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pop these colors onto our next figure right here. Let's go into this gentleman here. And we're going to lay down some deep red into here. Just going to lay it down. What's up, Mark Dietz? How you doing? I switched back to, obviously, as you can tell, I switched back to vertical. I was just, not having much success with my horizontal streams. But I think if I put the art right up in the center and like it fill up the whole entire screen of a vertical stream, I think the amount of space of the painting that you can actually see ends up being pretty decent. So I think that's what your feedback was that having the stream vertical meant that you couldn't really see much of the painting or something like that. I can't remember what it was you said, but that's what I think you were trying to tell me. So we are back. We're back to this. And here we go. I think this painting looks a bit too bloody and weird. But you know what I find though is it's from days like this, from this way of painting where I just like really experiment and just kind of like go for something just kind of ugly, or like go for something. I guess ugly is the wrong word, but go for something that might not be traditionally interesting as a euphemism for ugly. I find after days like these, I paint better on more tight and specific work. Because I feel like I've gotten the silliness out of my system. And here we go. So let's clean off this brush. Yeah, and I might switch back to the other place. But by the way, quick question: Are you viewing YouTube from a mobile device or from a like a tablet or something? But yeah, I did give it, an honest shot. I really thought that it would be good, and it was good. I definitely like the horizontal stream, so I'll probably go back and forth. But I think YouTube doesn't like it. So if you like the horizontal streams, the best thing that you did for me was, or even just in general, the best thing you did in general was to support it. And, I appreciate you being there. But I was going to say, YouTube doesn't actually favor the vertical streams. And it was like, You know, if you want more of that, you got to convince YouTube to see the value in it. I guess YouTube just hasn't. So laptop. Ah, you're viewing from laptop. That is why. So my buddy has this, is working on developing various AI. He's working on like an AI development team. And where's I going with this? Oh yeah, so he tried to get me to visit this project that he's working on. And he gave me a link to it on my phone. But it doesn't work on the mobile device. So then he's like, "Oh, dude, you have to use a physical, like a laptop." And you know, I didn't tell him this, but in my mind, I'm thinking, who uses a laptop anymore? Like, I haven't used a laptop in probably like 3 months. At least my personal laptop. I haven't used my personal laptop in about 3 months. So I think it's funny that you're sharing that experience. But there are people that use laptops, obviously, such as yourself. I guess with all my streaming, so much can be done from the phone. All the stuff that I really need can just be done from phone. I Cold. Hello, welcome. What is up, I Cold? Yeah, YouTube should figure out a way to like make it so that it's good for both. Or, the streamer, I should figure out a way to be able to stream both horizontally and vertically at the same time. That'd be nice. Imagine that. I guess that would be a good like little YouTube invention where YouTube has like a frame where you can stream horizontally, and then there's like a frame in the middle that shows what's going to show, or you can move the frame that shows what's going to stream vertically, and then it kind of just goes from there. But got this blue. Let's make our eyes white, shall we? Let's make some white eyes. I guess these eyes are kind of gray. Gray on yellow. Now let's do some of these horsey eyes, the horsey eyes. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to paint too long today. I need to take a nap. And obviously this one's going to be pretty much the same. All right, now let's find a good color for this horse. Let's use a nice green. So this painting has definitely gone in a direction where there's going to be no repairs possible unless I let it all dry and eventually do a paint over. But at least we had fun doing it. So here we go. Let's go Power Rangers. Okay, blue. We need green right now. So let me find some green. Good green. There we go. Some good green. And we're going to bring this green down. And what we want to do is I want to get some of the shadows darkened. I would like to darken some of these shadows. So we're going to mix this with our brown. And we're just going to go into our shadows. So we're just going to go around here, around and around and around. So one thing I instantly know of, hey, take care, Mark. Thanks so much for popping in. But you know, one thing I think about is that the style that I'm doing, I'm using the wrong style for the effects that I'm trying to get. And I fall into this trap quite often because this style of painting that uses very thick impasto, you know, the real goal of it, from my understanding of it, obviously I'm not a master of it. I experiment with it. But the real goal of it is to really capture color. And when you focus on adding shadow and things like that, if you try to focus too much on adding shadow, you can really I guess you're trying to fit like a circular peg into a spherical peg into a small square hole. Or a square peg, a large square peg into a small cubic hole. But anyway, we're going to go with this color. And let's go ahead and just see. Let's keep it nice and loose here. One of my initial goals is to play with this style. So we're going to keep messing with this design here. And hopefully come up with something different, something unique. And I feel like I'm losing a lot of details, but that's fine. Let's just keep going with it and see what we can discover. I definitely learn a lot from this, from when I do experiment with this painting style, but I also realize that a lot of times I don't always apply the lesson that I learn. And I guess this live stream could also be titled, What to Do on a Painting If You're Working on a Painting, You're Not Too Happy with How It's Starting. And I guess I feel like my answer would be to just keep going with it. Why not? So it's a bit rough and ugly. But isn't that what life is like sometimes? Rough and ugly? So let's go like this. We're going to go up with this. Oh, we should probably just go straight with it. Grab some more paint. And you know, I really like this effect for like horsehair, because horses have this very interesting hair on the back of their head, the mane, I guess is what it's called. And I think this effect kind of captures the look of the mane. But not necessarily the shapes of everything else. How does that horse look? Looks a little bit. A lot of the features are lost. I don't know. Trying to decide if I should keep up with this painting or just scrap it. Burn it with fire. All right. You know what? We're going to take a break right now. It's kind of cool where it is. It's different. But it's like at times like these, I'm like, should I keep going? Because this is a lot of paint that I have to use. Should I keep going and use this as like an experimental, exploration of technique? Or should I kind of call this a quit on this piece and take a break or start another piece? So I'm going to take a little break. This is a bit of a quicker stream because I'm having a creative dilemma here. The creative dilemma, which is how I feel about this work and how I feel I should proceed with it. What can be done, what can be saved, or whether just do nothing at all and let it dry and then paint over it someday. So we'll see. We're going to take a break right now, but for those of you that popped in, Martin Eats, everybody else, thank you, and we'll be back in a bit. We'll probably be back in a little later today to paint. Take care.